Back then it was really hard to find a proper port for mobile, and the few that existed were games everyone already knew like Limbo, Minecraft, Dead Cells and a couple of others. But today in 2025 you could say some games are even launching simultaneously with Android, and the platform itself has been receiving a ton of classic titles like Hitman, along with many new games that are absolutely worth your time. So if you want to check out these new PC to mobile ports, just drop a like and come with me. Let's start this list with one I absolutely love, that beautiful mix of strategy and RPG. Let's talk about Songs of Conquest. Songs of Conquest is a turn-based strategy game inspired by 90s classics like Heroes of Might and Magic 3. It brings together three main pillars: adventure and exploration, kingdom management, and tactical turn-based combat. You can choose from 4 distinct factions, each with its own units, strategies, and narrative-driven campaigns. The game includes rich story campaigns, conquest maps for battles against AI or local multiplayer, and special challenge maps. It features a charming pixel art visual style that captures the nostalgia of classic strategy games. And if you enjoy turn-based strategy with a focus on kingdom management and tactical combat, Songs of Conquest is a title that's been very well received by both critics and fans. This game is honestly very similar to Limbo. I even thought it was from the same creator, but apparently not. Let's talk about SILT, Eddie. The visuals are the strongest feature of SILT. The entire game is presented in an eerie black and white style. You play as a lone chained diver trying to uncover long forgotten mysteries in the abyss. The protagonist can't attack but has one essential ability: possession. He can enter different sea creatures and control them to solve puzzles or reach his objectives. The game is divided into sections, and at the end of each one you face gigantic Goliaths, massive deep sea titans. The challenge is figuring out how to use the environment and the possession mechanic to overcome them. I personally find the gameplay tough because I hate games set in the ocean or underwater, but SILT is completely different. I could probably count on my fingers how many beat-em-ups exist on Android. It's really limited, and this one is easily the most unknown of them all. Let's talk about Phantom Breaker. The game is a classic pixel art side-scroller where you move through stages wiping out hordes of enemies. The big difference is that the combat system is inspired by fighting games, offering complex combos, special commands, and mechanics like guarding and reflecting attacks. Movement isn't fully free like in other beat-em-ups. You're limited to 2 lanes on the map. It makes the combat simpler but also a bit stiff at the same time. One of the biggest highlights is the cross-platform online multiplayer where you can play co-op with a friend or try a mode called Battle Link, which is basically a PvP mode. There really isn't much more to say about this game since its genre is pretty simple. I love OCEAHORN. Really, all their games are incredibly well made, and the one we're talking about now is the latest one, OCEAHORN Chronos Dungeons.
If you leave these monsters alive, you will face the consequences on later floors.
OCEAHORN Chronos Dungeon is a spin-off of the acclaimed OCEAHORN series, known for its Zelda-inspired style, but this time the gameplay changes completely. The story takes place 200 years after the events of OCEAHORN 2. The world of Arcadia is in ruins, and a group of adventurers enters the mythical Chronos Dungeon in search of the Paradigm Hourglass, an artifact capable of altering the course of history. But as you've noticed, the game shifts into a dungeon crawler, almost a roguelike. With every new floor, the dungeon rearranges itself with new layouts, enemies, and modifiers, giving it strong replay value. Another highlight is that it was designed for local couch co-op, allowing up to 4 players to play together on the same device. I never thought Metal Slug could go from a run and gun, almost beaten up style to a full tactical game, and the crazy part is that it actually turned out really good. Let's talk about Metal Slug Tactics. You control a squad of 3 heroes with the actual characters from the series on a grid-based map. The gameplay revolves around moving your soldiers, finding cover, and attacking enemies. The best part is that it still keeps the same story from the original games, meaning there basically is no story. The missions are literally about taking down the green soldiers without overthinking why, just pure, straightforward gameplay. The game adds mechanics like adrenaline, synergy, and synchrony between attacks, which really set it apart and make it feel unique instead of just another generic tactical RPG. In short, Metal Slug Tactics is a bold adaptation that still manages to keep the explosive and humorous spirit of Metal Slug. This one hasn't even been out for 10 days. Well, I don't know exactly when you're watching this video, but let's talk about this brand new incredible game called Leah Hacking. In a dystopian future, megacorp's machines have taken over the planet. They moved most of humanity somewhere else, leaving Leah and a few survivors behind, hunted by robotic patrols. Leah must fight, hack, and rise as part of the resistance to save what's left of humanity. The game focuses on fast and fluid combat. You play as Leah, an agile survivor who uses acrobatic movements. From the same creators of CONQUEST, this game goes all in on polished, intense combat while still keeping that bold movement style from the original title. It's a highly recommended game, especially if you enjoy fast action, roguelite progression, and completely insane gameplay. This is also one of the new mobile ports, and unlike many others on this list, this one actually became pretty popular. Let's talk about INMOST. The story is an intimate metaphor about loss and hope, touching on sensitive and melancholic themes that require attention to fully understand. The dark atmosphere is a crucial part of the experience. The game gives you three main characters and it switches between them so you can piece the whole story together. The knight, trying to escape the dungeon with a gameplay style focused on combat and action. The wanderer, searching for something lost with a puzzle and adventure playstyle. The child, trying to escape her sinister home with gameplay centered on exploration and fleeing. The game features an incredibly atmospheric pixel art visual style. Even though it's pixel based, that by the lighting is stunning. INMOST is highly recommended for anyone looking for an indie game with gorgeous art that prioritizes emotional storytelling and puzzles over constant action. This is one of the ones I enjoyed the most in terms of adventure and even story. Let's talk about a game I didn't even know existed. GREAK, Memories of AZUR. The game takes place in the land of AZUR, which is under attack by the invading Urlags, creatures spreading a deadly plague across the territory. The story follows the three Kurin siblings, a magical race, as they try to reunite and escape the war by building an airship to leave AZUR behind. One of the game's biggest strengths is its visual appeal. Every frame, character, and environment is hand-drawn and hand-animated, resulting in a high-quality 2D cartoon aesthetic that feels similar to classic Disney-style animation. Just like INMOST, the game gives you three siblings to play as, each with completely different abilities, but here you can switch between them freely or even control them at the same time during certain missions or boss fights. One of the ports exclusive to the Epic Games Store, yes, there's a hidden gem over there about, let's talk about Eastern Exorcist. The visuals are the first thing that stand out. The entire game is presented in a gorgeous Chinese ink painting art style. Even the story scenes have a completely unique presentation, showing how carefully crafted the game really is. The combat is known for being difficult and punishing, requiring precise timing. It focuses heavily on dodging, blocking, and defensive movement at just the right moment. You play as a skilled exorcist who uses his sword to slay demons and monsters. The game is heavily inspired by Chinese mythology, exploring urban legends and folkloric creatures. If you enjoy challenging 2D action games with engaging combat and visuals that look like a painting in motion, Eastern Exorcist is an excellent choice. This game is extremely controversial. It manages to be a very different kind of horror experience, and if I'm not mistaken, it was released in 2023. Let's talk about DECARNATION. You play as Gloria, a dancer in Paris in the late 80s and early 90s. She's going through a period of heavy emotional breakdown, dealing with the end of a relationship, career problems, and low self-esteem. With all these issues piling up, Gloria accepts a new project offered by a mysterious art patron. What starts as an opportunity quickly turns into a nightmare because there's something very strange about this new job. The gameplay focuses on puzzles, exploration, and a variety of minigames you need to learn as you go. But without a doubt, the biggest highlight is the story itself. In short, DECARNATION is an intense and emotional experience, perfect for anyone looking for a horror game that leans more into psychological depth and the beauty of its narrative rather than pure scares. This is a very underrated game, not just on Android but even on PC. It has an incredibly addictive gameplay loop. Let's talk about Dandy Ace.
Cupcake. I can't eat any more cupcakes. Ugh.
You play as Dandy Ace, a fabulous and extravagant magician who gets trapped inside a cursed mirror by his biggest rival and obsessive fan. To escape, you have to fight monsters and figure out how to get through the game's wild and chaotic rooms. The game is fast-paced, colorful, and full of personality and humor, especially in the dialogues between Ace and Lele. The cards you collect act as your abilities. You can equip 4 active cards, building your own playstyle and deck however you want to deal with the enemies. The game was clearly inspired by Hades with a similar gameplay flow and a lot of flair. Dandy Ace is perfect if you're looking for a fast action roguelite with deep combat mechanics and tons of personality. I'm not exactly sure if Carmen Sandiego was a cartoon that became a game or a game that became a cartoon, but let's talk about this new Netflix game, Carmen Sandiego. You play as an ACME agent whose mission is to track down and capture the master thief Carmen Sandiego and her massive criminal organization VILE. The big twist is that Carmen and her henchmen always steal real historical landmarks, artworks, or treasures. Things like the Statue of Liberty or the Pyramids of Giza. At its core, every Carmen Sandiego game is educational, aiming to teach geography, history, and world culture in a fun and engaging way. Unlike other games, this one requires careful investigation. After gathering enough clues to deduce the henchman's identity and the final destination, you must issue the correct arrest warrant for the suspect, making sure they're captured in the right place. I love this game. I'm playing it all the way through. It has so many interesting aspects that I can't even cover everything here. Let's talk about BLOOMTOWN, a different story. You play as Emily and her younger brother Chester, who move to the quiet and picturesque town of BLOOMTOWN to spend the summer with their grandmother, but when night falls, the adults in the town and the town itself are kidnapped by a parallel dimension called the Invisible World, where demons are trying to abduct everyone. Emily now has to find a way to save little BLOOMTOWN. The game can be divided into two main parts. During the day, you need to use your time wisely, building relationships with other kids in town. This improves the protagonist's social stats like courage, kindness, and intelligence. And of course, at night, you head out to fight the demons taking over the city. This might be one of the best hack and slash Metroidvanias I've ever found on Android. The game is simply perfect. Let's talk about BLAZBLUE Entropy Effect. You don't actually play as the real characters. Instead, you're a user entering the AI battle system to train, using data copies of the original BLAZBLUE heroes, almost like stepping into a simulation. The game hits even harder if you already know the BLAZBLUE series, since it features many iconic characters. You start with a few unlocked styles, either each one based on a BLAZBLUE hero complete with their own unique moveset. Here's where the roguelite element comes in. Every room gives you a choice of new active or passive abilities that temporarily power up your character. In short, if you enjoy roguelites like Dead Cells or Hades but want that depth and flashy combat style of a fighting game, BLAZBLUE Entropy Effect is an amazing pick. Let's wrap up our list with an anime game and a full-on platformer, like RWBY, ARROWFELL. You play as the four main heroines, Ruby Rose, Weiss Schnee, Blake Belladonna, and Yang Xiaolong, and switching between them at any moment. The core gameplay revolves around using each girl's unique abilities, their semblances, to explore, fight, and solve challenges. The game works even better if you've watched the anime, especially for the story, but I've never seen it and still found the game really fun. The story in ARROWFELL is completely original but fully canonical, meaning it officially fits into the RWBY timeline. In summary, RWBY ARROWFELL is a must-play for fans of the series, offering a new official story with classic 2D gameplay based on fast character switching and each heroine's unique abilities. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.